All right, everybody. It is 1:37 on whatever day of the month it is in October this is. It's less important than the time. Welcome to the Science Hack Day 2019 presentations and awards extravaganza. My name is Ben Ward. I will be your MC for the next however long this takes. It is nice to see you all again. Congratulations on your 10th year of San Francisco Science Hacking. More applause for that, please. I trust that everyone... There's a good number of people sitting here. If anyone is still loitering out of shot of me, please come to the auditorium area and take a seat and settle in to enjoy watching everybody's work from the weekend. I hope you've all had incredible fun. This is a wonderful event. And as I say, congratulations everyone on everything you have put together. I am very excited to see it. Let me explain relatively quickly how this is going to work. Actually, out of slight interest from everyone, quick shout or whoop if this is your first Science Hack Day. Wow. All right, excellent. In that case, I will carefully explain how this is going to work. You will each have 2.5 minutes up here on the stage to share your hack with all your fellow participants. At 2.5 minutes, some sort of loud, obnoxious sound will be made, and you will be ushered to leave the stage. So please make sure you stay within your time. Up here on the stage, we obviously have the plethora of connectors for your laptops and so forth if you need it. We also have a handy cam, which I will helpfully point at your work so that people can see it on the big screen. Generally, we will figure it out as we go along. You'll also be able to see a countdown timer for how long you have left on the screens in front of you, so you can keep up with that. I'll be calling teams up pretty much in the order that you submitted yourselves, so assume randomly. What we will do is we'll ask effectively the next couple of teams to assemble over here on my left, your right by the ramp to get you lined up so that people can swap in and swap out quickly. Please only come onto the stage from this side with the ramp. Do not attempt to enter the stage from this side with all of the loose cabling for implied reasons. Unless that's your hack right there, in which case I think we understand that you'll be standing over there. Got all your standard stuff. If you need something weird in order to do your presentation and you haven't already let us know, please let Ramon know. Hopefully it's not the case, but if you need something, we can hustle to make this work for you. Matt, I trust you will be performing the annual tradition of the group photograph. Do you wish to do it? It's in my list for right now, so if you'd like to do it right now.
Absolutely. So,
you're an intrepid photographer.
do you mind if I? Yeah. So congratulations for making it through the weekend. We took a photo right at the start when you were all bright-eyed and bushy-tails, and now after endless amounts of science hacking, we're going to record your happy but tired faces. So I'm going to count you down to 3, and then let's all cheer and wave at me. 3, 2, 1, go! You're a really attractive bunch of people, you know that.
I believe they know that, and I believe some people have built hacks to numerically verify it. Okay, I'm going to momentarily explain to you or let you know what the potential prizes are, and I will introduce you to our judges. But just before we do that, I'm just going to ask the first pair of teams to assemble themselves over here on the right, ready to come up so that we can get started. So if Beard Detector, the next generation, could set themselves up over on the side, and also Talking Newspaper Stand, if you could get in line behind them, you'll be up second. That would be great, and then we'll be ready to go. So while they're gathering, let me just quickly summarize for you the basics of the judging and the categories we'll be putting into. So there is the opportunity to win the Data Award for most interesting use of data, a Hardware Award for, that's fairly self-explanatory, an award specifically recognizing great design, and of course, Best in Show. All of those categories will be judged by our 3 intrepid judges who are sat in the comfy seats at the very front. So just to quickly introduce you to them. Judges, please give a wave. That seems, there you go. It's for those who couldn't recognize the comfiest chairs in the house. First up, Zarina Agnew is a neuroscientist with a focus on clinical motor neuroscience and a passion for social neuroscience. They have an academic post at UCSF and are president of Irrational Labs and the Social Science Observatory. They also help run the Red Victorian, a science-themed hotel in San Francisco. In their side projects, they work on experimental living and governance. Brian Kane is an artist and product designer with clients in gaming, finance, education, and consumer electronics. His artworks have shown in museums and galleries internationally, and his pioneering real-time video sampling techniques have influenced a generation of media artists. He taught AI and wearables design at RISD, and has been featured on the Discovery Channel, Science Channel, and The Today Show, and more. Finally, Eri Gentry is co-founder and volunteer at BioCurious, the first hackerspace for biology. She also works with the think tank Institute for the Future, where the very first Science Hack Day was hosted. And she strives to give her garage an interesting life. It used to be a cancer research lab and is now a gallery for classic computers. So thank you to all of our judges. Finally, of course, there is also the highly coveted People's Choice Award. If you are done listening to experts, there's a prize for all of you as well. So please, please, please pay attention to everyone's presentations. Keep a little note of your favorites as we go along. We'll be asking you to vote for the People's Choice Award right at the very end of the presentations. Okay. Beard Detector team, are you ready? Okay, in which case, I can skip over my note that says ad-lib awkwardly, and we can get right into this. Please welcome to the stage Beard Detector, the next generation.
That's not the one I want. That's okay.
There you go.
Howdy, y'all. I'm Josh. I was at my first Science Hack Day 8 years ago. I had to look it up online. It was so long ago. Back then, I made what I thought was an amazing invention, the Beard Detector. Back then, the Beard Detector was pretty primitive. It was using a USB microscope. You would hold it to your face. And it really wasn't a beard detector, let's be honest. It was a stubble detector. It would detect stubble on your face. But it was kind of cute because it used very primitive machine learning. Here's actually a recorded demo of it, detecting the beard follicles. Pretty advanced stuff back then. But times have changed. Paradigms have shifted. It's time for the next generation of beard detecting technology and today I will unveil the first AI-powered beard detector. For this, I used Python, I used OpenCV, I kind of cheated a little bit, and I used an open source cloud API from Microsoft. Thank you, Microsoft. And now it's time for the demo. I have a lovely assistant here who will help us out. Can you come and show off your lovely beard? And any volunteers are welcome to come up. It takes about a second or so. Hopefully. Oh, there we see. Oh, whoa. Oh, no.
Hang on.
Oh.
Sorry.
Beard! There's a beard! A 90% chance of a beard. Give this man a round of applause for that wonderful beard. Thank you.
Finally, science is doing something that can be put to great use. Okay, talking newspaper stand. Please come and position yourselves. If the next teams could get themselves lined up on the right of the stage, balloon costumes will be up next, followed by Watch the Skies. If those two teams could please line up on the right-hand side of the stage, we will welcome you up in about 2.5 minutes. But first, talking newspaper stand.
All right. Hi. So we got this idea because as digital media has been on the rise, the newspaper stand has gone into disuse. In the past, they've sort of served this a vital role, providing community news to passerby. And so we wanted to modernize the physical newspaper stand to do what it was meant to do. So without further ado, Ruby will hopefully demo this.
So what we did was we have an ultrasonic sensor here to sense distance, and it will trigger a speaker and a motor that's supposed to turn and make the lid open and close, make it look like it's talking, and with the news of the latest from the local news, if it's working.
Can you hear it?
And like all demo, it's failing right now.
Can you put the microphone next to the speaker? It's not working. Oh no, it worked. We promise. We have a video online.
So hopefully someone will get good use of this abandoned news bin on the street.
Cool. Well, thank you.
Thank you so much. I really love the reuse of like old street furniture like that and modernizing it. That's awesome. Okay, next to the stage, could we please have balloon costumes? Fascinated to see how literal this turns out to be. To help you set up?
So we're waiting for the costumes. And can you hook this up to the monitor?
Yes.
What are you looking for?
Okay, let me hand you a microphone.
Hold on, I'm not ready yet.
Okay.
Okay, so after I talk, then you guys are just gonna shift over, okay?
Okay.
Let's see, hold on. Hello. Okay, my name is Lily, and this is the picture for the inspiration behind my balloon hack. That is Conrad the Unicorn, and it is the most popular balloon costume in history. Okay, so what they use is they use a special type of balloon. They use balloons that have tie on two ends, so they can connect them and they can make them into a ring. And then they have smaller ones that will connect vertically. So that's how they're making that pattern over here, the up and across. So my balloon hack is whether or not regular round balloons can do the same thing. So what we did was I did a research on the internet, and so most of the balloon costumes are like grapes, and they safety pin purple balloons on them, or they do Skittles and M&Ms, which is random balloons, but mostly safety pins or string. So the hack that I thought was the easiest was just wrapping string around balloons. So this is an example of a black sheep costume, if you filled it up with more sheep. So this is just taking a pair of balloons, a regular pair of balloons, and wrapping string around it, putting another pair of wrapping string around. So that was actually the fastest and easiest way, but what we noticed is that it's only good for round stuff. We wanted to see if we could make a costume that had features on it. Okay, so while I was buying balloons, I noticed that they sell these kits with these special holes in the plastic. And what they do is you put in the balloons in a line, and they're supposed to be strung in a random way. They're not actually meant to be in any geometric shape to cover the body. So we came up with weird types of geometry. And so what we started with was a ring here. And we had another ring, but as we transferred it, it actually, so they also provide glue dots. So without the dots, your balloons are loose like this. So they give you these little glue dots, they're round circles, you glue it on, and they stick together. But they stick so well together that actually some of them popped while we were moving. So that left a mess, and it was also kind of flimsy, so we went on to a second art. Okay, so what we noticed is that thin balloons are translucent, and thick balloons are opaque. So what we did was we started with the thicker balloons. And so these are pairs where we did the string around it, like the sheep method. And then we actually duct taped all of these together. So everything that is not tied with string is duct tape. And that's our final product.
Fantastic. Okay. Thank you so much, Balloon Costumes. I think that is the physically largest hack I've ever seen at Science Hack Day. At least at this stage of the competition. While they are making their way off the stage, if Turbidimeter and S-Mirror could please come get yourselves in line at the right-hand side of the stage, you will be next up. But now, please welcome to the stage Watch the Skies.
Okay. Are we ready yet? I got to
just
give us
while they're setting up.
How long do you think you need? Okay. Well, you get 10 seconds. So, our idea, well, it began with presenting about the amount of data that we have as an astronomer. And I made this animation many years ago showing the positions of every single asteroid in the solar system, and it was quite a hit. But it lacked physicality. So we decided that we wanted to make it so that people could understand where objects were in the solar system, and I've almost just dropped this. So, so yeah, this object here, in theory, should be pointing at the nearest asteroid to the planet Earth. Right now, it's 2012 VB37. Its azimuth is 74 degrees. Wait a second. Altitude is, okay, it's supposed to be pointing. Let's actually find an object. This is like 3.7 million kilometers away. That is not something to worry about. How about we switch back to a couple of years ago? We had an object that was coming in a little closer. This is 2017 UL6, and it came in inside the distance of the moon, 332,000 at this point, but we are running time forward at about, 5 to 10 minutes every few seconds. This thing came right for us, right down inside the moon, almost to within the distance of geostationary orbit, and it flew past us. Thankfully, it was only about the size of a car. So this is essentially, if it was pointing in the right direction, would be reminding us that we are under constant threat of these objects flying past the Earth. But guess what? We had other data available. We had satellite data, so we thought, wouldn't it be cool if we could actually show where satellites are, right? So we switch over to satellite mode, and I get a server error. Oh dear, there we go. So now, in theory, it's supposed to be tracking the satellites because I wanted to say, hey, watch out, there's a spy satellite coming over, because we all know the NRO have their claws and everything, and nothing is beyond their reach. That is their own words, by the way. So we have been sabotaged. They don't want you to know when these things are coming. But right now, we have a Russian satellite flying over. Its altitude is about 35 degrees above the horizon, and I can tell it's in about that direction. About 20,000 kilometers away. It's probably doing signal intelligence, but don't worry, your hacks are safe from them because of, we're indoors. So thank you. Watch the skies. They're watching us. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much. Okay, coming next to the stage, Turbidimeter, if you want to get yourself plugged in. S-Mirror, you should be in line at the right of the stage. There are people there, I'm going to assume that's you. If Laser SETI could please join the line at the right-hand side of the stage, you will be up in 2.
We'll have to prepare a few things.
Oh, sure.
We are not on the display. I just...
Thank you.
Ça va.
This is a lot of setting up. Il faut peut-être pousser ça pour que tu fasses ici. Ça va? Sorry, it's a lot of setting up. C'est bon? C'est bon?
Close to ready.
I told you.
Ah bon, ça.
I told you.
Okay. Ready.
Slides back.
Yes. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Gilles. This is Chloe, and we are Team Turbidimeter.
Okay, so can we really drink dirty water? Water sanitation is a worldwide problem. 1 in 3 people, about 35% of our population, lack access to a clean water source. An estimate of 800,000 kids under the age of 5 die due to diarrhea each year, which is spread through unsanitary water. So we want to be able to give access to a sanitary water source to underdeveloped countries by using a water filtration system. So to build this water filtration system, we have a basic water bottle, a paper filter, a layer of sand and gravel, a layer of charcoal, which is used to remove toxic compounds like pathogens and dirt from the water, and another paper filter. And the water filtration system is being made. So the evolution of our filtration system, when we first started, we mixed plain dirt and water, and we had 325 NTU, and water is considered drinkable when it is below 10. So after several filtrations, we did 5, we brought it down to 8, which is the last one, and that is clear water. And to test that it's clear, we have an electronic circuit. And the electronic circuit is going to verify the sanity level using light intensity scattered at a 90-degree angle that's going to pass through the water. And it will give off a green light when the sanity level is low enough to be drinkable. It's green, meaning it's drinkable and it's safe. So now he can drink it. And he's actually going to drink it. So he's going to drink it. So thank you.
Thank you so much. I think special commendations in order for consuming your own science on stage. A great level of confidence. Okay, while they get themselves tidied up again, that was Turbidimeter. Next up, we're coming S-Mirror. Smira. We can do that. Laser SETI should be in line next. And if Field Notes and Interactive Citizen Science Game could make their way to the right-hand side of the stage and get in line, you will be up shortly. Which of you would like the mic to introduce yourselves while you're setting up?
Good afternoon. Our team name is SMEAR, and the reason we selected the name SMEAR is because we have a sensing mirror that concentrates light to 4 cardinal points embedded in the mirror. And our demo here is to identify a light source and track to it.
All right. So yeah, me and my buddy Steve, we worked on the hardware, and Laura,
we basically CAD modeled and 3D printed a small little frame for it to fit 2 servos, which tilt on 2 different axes, one rotating it around and the other one moving it up and down, and then and by being able to do this, we can direct it towards any light source that's most powerful at each time.
He's going between these 2 lights right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's confused between these 2 lights which one to point at.
So.
And then So yeah, you can kind of see it's going a little bit. And do you want to do the flashlight? Yeah. So the lights might get in the way of this, and it's still not perfect. even without the lights. But so that's the yaw motor on the bottom, and it's comparing the intensity of sensors 0 and 2. We have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 0, 1, 2, 3, so 4 sensors. It's comparing these, and then I think this was described the other day, like if one's heavier, then you know it's not symmetrical, and you just keep correcting until you kind of get there. The one going up and down is not working as well, and it's pretty much just stuck here right now, but you know, version 2 would have prettier hardware, so. If anyone else
And we'd like to give a real big thanks to our Professor Dr. Javid Bayender for funding our entire trip to come here for this science hack. You know, UB Crash Lab, you know? That's it. Thank you.
Awesome, thank you, Smira. Laser SETI, if you could make your way to the stage and get yourselves wired in. Field Notes, an interactive citizen science game, should be in line to come up next. After them will be Particular Affection. If you could join the line on the right-hand side of the stage, you'll be up soon. And now Laser SETI. There we go.
There we go. Hi, everyone. My name's Elliot. This is Vlad. And Ivan, if you're out there, raise your hand, but I didn't see you. Okay, well, the three of us worked on Laser SETI this weekend. We, just to remind you, Laser SETI's goal is to put instruments like these around places like these, to view the sky all the time looking for, in our case, extrasolar laser pulses, but also some other science involved. So we scienced all the things this weekend and put together a couple things. Previously, we have, this is the way we look at the instrument and its performance and that sort of stuff, which is a cool console by a company called CubeOS that allows us to have all our telemetry and see what's happening with the instrument. But it's kind of hard to actually really see what the instrument is seeing. It produces a lot of data. So we took those registration frames that it captures throughout the night and made it in the morning. It makes a movie out of the frames, so you can easily get a sort of a summary of what the instrument saw the previous night. And so you're seeing the Milky Way and an airplane and mostly stars, and the gray frames are actually when the shutter didn't open because it's stuck in the beginning of the night. So that was actually one of the other things that I'm not going to demo right now, is I wrote code to detect those frames and smack the camera around. But it wouldn't be science if we didn't have data. And so Ivan and Vlad here took a look at the data that the camera produces and analyzed a bunch of different aspects of the data. Here you can see that the events that are being detected aren't completely symmetric, so that's an interesting thing for us to go start digging in on where those dissymmetries are coming from. Let's see. Anyway, more data. It's kind of hard to explain in a short time frame, but if you're interested, please join our Slack channel. There's lots more to do: website, data analysis, coding, mechanical engineering, all sorts of stuff. It's a fun project to contribute to, so hope to see you around.
I assume that's fine. Thank you so much, Laser SETI. Next up to the stage, please, Field Notes, an interactive citizen science game. You'd make your way on up. Particular Affection should be next in line. And then if Laser Labyrinth, if you could make your way to the right-hand side of the stage by the ramp, you'll be up in 2. Start introducing.
All right, so there are so many citizen science projects on Zooniverse, and a lot of them have mechanics that are very similar to mini games that we're used to in other video games. Things like pattern matching classification, even find the hidden object of like find a little shallot inside an ocean pitcher. But on their own, they're not particularly engaging if you are not already involved in community science. So we decided that we were going to build ourselves a game where you would go around and explore your little world and engage and explore your environment. And as you did, you would enter into embedded community science data from Zooniverse and be able to explore that and do those classification games, those annotations, those hidden objects. So that would be...
I'll go ahead and just get to the game, actually. I was hoping to bring up Galaxy Zoo to show you an example. Basically, the idea is that you classify objects, Galaxy objects. So going to the game, this is the engine it runs in, and here's the demonstration of it. So give it a second. It's loading assets, loading real, actual science data right now. So it's a simple enough concept. You are a guy on an adorably small globe. You can move left to right, and you can inspect and interact with elements of the environment. These... Yeah, so this is showing an area you can interact with, and it's meant to indicate a spot where you can stargaze. So we're going to stargaze, and now we have a dialog box that shows up. And as we continue work on this, we're going to include the elements that allow you to then classify this galaxy, just like what happens inside of Galaxy Zoo. And now there's other environments. We're not just doing astronomy here. Here's another spot where we could do astronomy. Nope, doesn't want to do that one, actually. Always works that way. But we could also do other science. We could go into the Serengeti and actually look at photographs from automatically triggered cameras. Let's see if this one wants to. Oh, well, sadly. It decides, there we go. So there's an example, and maybe the task here is that we are asked to tell how many of what species of animals we see in the image. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Field notes. Okay, if a particular affection could make their way up onto the stage and get yourselves wired in, which you appear to literally be. So I'll get the camera for you in just a moment. Laser Labyrinth should be up next in line. And then if Data is Music could make your way to the right-hand side of the stage, you're up in two. Who would like the mic?
Good afternoon, everyone. So while my teammates are setting up our demo, have you ever been in a room full of people and see someone you like, but you've never had the guts to come up and talk to them? So for those who speak to that experience, we created Particular Affection. This device would sense if you've taken a particular liking to someone, and it will give that other person a sign. So how does it work?
Okay, so our cheesy sign theory is if you keep staring at someone and can't help laughing while your pulse races up, that means you like that one. So let's see how it works. So Natalia has been obsessed with me. Yeah? Wait, is it working? Okay. That means she's not that much into me yet. Okay, try harder. Oh, there we are. Yay, one person likes me. Oh, yeah, that's it. So the theory is the function. Wait. Anyway, the way it works is we have a muscle sensor that will detect the tension of your muscle. So every time you flex your muscle, there's an electric signal can go to the adrenal. And we also have a pulse sensor that will detect your heartbeat. So when your heartbeat go up to 100 pulse per minute, and you're also smiling, that means you like that person. And you're sending a signal to the other person. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
so much. Okay, particular affection. Next up to the stage, please, Laser Labyrinth. Come along for your 2.5 minutes. Data is Music should be in line next, and then if Boomwhacker's Hero could join the line to the right-hand side on the ramp, you'll be up after. What are you saying?
No, it's fine. All right, so this is the Laser Labyrinth. Some people are familiar with a tabletop game. It's a wooden game. It's a wooden maze with a marble that you have to control the XY plane in order to navigate the maze. In the traditional version, there's one start point, one end point, and lots of holes for traps along the way. In this version, we have a single laser to start it out, and then we're going to have 7 different endpoints throughout the maze that the laser light can ultimately reflect upon. And so, unfortunately, well, we use Lego, some rulers, and some mirrors in order to do this. Unfortunately, the Lego build board is not as stiff as would be desired, so every time we pick it up and move it, each of these attachment points becomes a little bit unstable and then throws off the alignment of the light path. So it's not very demo friendly, but if after this you want to check it out, it'll be on our table setup, and I'll get everything leveled out then. And yeah, basically that's the idea, play with lasers.
Thank you very much. All right, that was Laser Labyrinth. Next up to the stage, Data is Music. Boomwhacker's Hero, you should be next in line. And then, if after them, Listening to the Large Hadron Collider, Sounds of CMS, you can join the line. And I am going to get out of the way of this table.
Hi, all. So we built a data sonification project that basically takes 4 columns of arbitrary CV or CSV data, comma separated values, extracts a z-score from those slightly modified, sends it to an Arduino, and then that goes to the modular synthesizer. So we're not going to say very much because we want to demo some of these data sets. So the first one that we're going to do is currency data. So this is the ratio of like circulating currency to bank cash from 1959 to 1914. Do we have it? Do we have sound? Is sound going out? Oh, here we go. And 2008. That's 2008. So I don't know where the low frequency went with that. We kind of lost it, but that's okay anyway. The next one we're gonna do, or do we want to do this again? Can we hear it better? Do you think? No. No. Okay, that's fine. It is what it is. So the next one we're gonna do is data on depression. So this has the columns that I frankly don't know what they mean, but simplicity, fatalism, and depression levels. So these are controlling some of the volume, basically, of some of these voices. Is it working? Okay, yeah. All right. And so the last data set we want to demo for you, this is Earth albedo and color data. So the modulations that we're going to hear are going to be variations as you go around the Earth, basically. So, and thanks to Scott Manley for sharing this data set with us. So that wobble. Okay, and we're out of time, but thanks everyone, and we got a whole bunch of offers for data sets we couldn't use, but thank you.
Thank you very, very, very much. Data is music. Okay, Boomwhackers Hero, come onto the stage. I think I see what's going on here. Listening to the Large Hadron Collider should be... That's also him. Okay, great. Well, you're here. That works for me. If quantum physics board game... All right. Let's just hang out for a while then. Who would like the mic to introduce this one?
I'll take it. All right, so yeah, I think we're still waiting on. Are we good?
Well, let me just see if we have sound. Let me just see if it plays just to get the audio. Is there audio?
Do you have to switch your output speaker?
It should be working. So the other thing we could do is hold the mic up to it.
Yeah.
We've got extra mics as well.
Okay.
I can take an extra mic for you to hold for that.
Alright, so let me, I'm so sorry.
Do you want to introduce the Hackmonies?
Yeah, I'll introduce it. So our idea was to make a Guitar Hero-based game using Boomwhackers, which are these different sized tubes that make a noise when you hit it against something. So this is a C note, and then this is a B note. So if we get this up,
Oh, you want to see it now?
yeah, let's get it up now.
All right, here we go. We're going to try to do All-Star.
No.
We're going to do all the small things. Wait. Judges, come on. We're going to get, yeah. Come on. We're going to do hallelujah. We're going to try. So the length of these tells you the wavelength of them. That's the physics part of this. This is the science part of this. These are used often in schools. So here you guys take a few. There's two you got right there. And we're going to try hallelujah. All right, you guys ready? This is going to be a little slower. All right, ready? Hang on, I'm going to switch. When it comes down. Oh, there we go. You guys will get to level 2 next time, I'm sure. All right, but good job. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. All right, cool.
All right, do you want to go?
Yeah, I'll do this one. All right, that was good. Just so you guys know, we had like a lot of practice last night doing this, so it's not as easy. All right.
All right, so my name is Matt Bellis. I'm from Siena College, where some of my colleagues and students also are from, who you just saw. The work that I do is primarily on the Large Hadron Collider. 10 years ago, I was at the first Science Hack Day in San Francisco. I was a member of the Babar experiment, which takes place up at SLAC. And I had this amazing experience here at Science Hack Day where we sonified data from this particle physics experiment. It's something I'd always thought about. My buddy David Harris told me, he's like, I've got this friend, Ariel Waldman, she's putting together this event. He's like, you should come. And it was transformative. And then since then, I've moved on to the Large Hadron Collider. And one of the things I've thought about is to try to make the audio more available online. The hack that we had was a little bit difficult to share with other people. So it makes it a little bit difficult to kind of explain what I'm doing. And I'm always looking for new ways to kind of explain the code or explain the science. So I'm going to have to probably hold this again up to this. Is this here? Can you guys hear any of this? So, do you mind holding this and I'll just talk? So, what's going... Oh, yeah. So I'll take this. So at the Large Hadron Collider, we collide protons every 25 nanoseconds. And when we do, we get these sprays of particles that come out. Some of them are referred to as jets. There's these sprays of a whole bunch of particles that are collimated together. There's electrons and muons. And there's ways that we analyze it by looking at where it goes in the detector, as well as the amount of energy they have. And this allows us to discover new things about the world. But I've always been interested in trying to engage with this data a different way. And so what we've got is each of those circles that's appearing and disappearing is one of these types of particles that's being created in some direction in the detector in conjunction with other particles with some amount of energy and momentum associated with it. And again, it's interesting to me because I start to hear things that I'm kind of aware of in the data, but I don't get to see it, right? We don't see these particles coming out. The data analysis that we do kind of removes you from the actual physical aspects of things that are happening. So again, to me, this is fascinating to me to hear it, and I hope other people, it allows them to engage with this data that can seem so abstract and esoteric. So the links, this is online. It's much easier now to see. The whole process turned out to be much more difficult than I thought, and I was up till 3:30, and I'm very tired. But that's what these events are for. So I just want to thank Ariel for these events. Thank you very much.
Right on time. And so next up will be Pixel Soup. When we say yes, Quantum Physics board game. Next in line, please, could be Pixel Soup. And then if Sound Mapper could join the line on the right-hand side of the stage by the ramp after them, those two teams will be up next.
So again, I'm Matt Bellis. I'm a professor at Siena College. This is Delaney Corrigan, Sam Richardson from Wichita State. So this past summer, Delaney worked with me. I had this idea that in many ways is inspired by many of the things that I've seen here at Science Hack Day, which is to come up with a board game that teaches people about quantum mechanics, and it uses the rules of quantum mechanics as actually part of the gameplay. And I'm like, Delaney, you want to work on this? She's like, sure. And she's done amazing work. We've got all these game pieces. But the story of how, when we came here, we're like, well, it's not quite playable. And we got a lot of good feedback from people. And I'm going to hand it to Delaney to tell the rest of the story about since we got here.
Okay, well, when we showed up, we had a square board game, like in the shape of Monopoly, essentially, and we had a game. The game pieces consisted of a spinner for one situation, 3 different 6-sided die, actually 4 different 6-sided die, and a 12-sided die, so it was a little bit complicated. And then we tested it out with some people, and everyone basically was like, well, this is way too confusing. So we changed it to be a circular board, which actually looks more confusing than the original board, but it's not. And now each section, instead of using like an experiment to start each turn, different sections are divided into different quantum mechanics related experiments. And then we also have these little pieces that represent different experiments so that when they're used in the classroom, which is the goal of this game, people can kind of put these little pieces into their memory and remember the experiments.
What do I say? Whatever. Okay. So Delaney brought the game,
and I was watching them play it. And I play a lot of board games, too many for anyone to get anything done in life. But I wanted to help the game because I actually played a game that somebody from Fermilab, from my professor at Wichita State, had brought once about quarks and particles, and it was the worst game I had ever played in my life. So, yeah, I saw this game, and there were a lot of different pieces, so we just tried to integrate a lot of the parts, like going from all the different kinds of dice to the single spinner, or just moving more through history of quantum mechanics in order to get to a single experiment done, instead of just constantly doing different experiments until suddenly apparently someone has won. And we've also added more actual player interaction, because before it was a one-player game that was played by 5 people. So it's improved a lot.
And thanks for all the feedback from everybody who came by.
Thank you very much. Not sure what you mean playing too many board games to get anything useful done. That's the only way to live. Okay, that was Quantum Physics board game. And before that, listening to the Large Hadron Collider. And before that was Boomwhacker's Hero, just so you're keeping track. Next to the stage, please, Pixel Soup. Yes. Sound Mapper, you'll be up next. If the team Looney could come join the line on the right-hand side of the stage, you'll be up in 2.
Okay. Hi, we are Pixel Soup. My name is Gabriel, and this is Sheen.
Yeah. Can you get a projector?
Oh, do you want to plug in?
Oh, it is. Oh, hang on. I need to activate it. Okay, let me try again. It is this one, right?
Yep.
Still no?
Still no. I can just,
All right.
I can just point the camera at you if you want.
Can we come back like after the next group? This occasionally happens to my laptop where the HDMI port will not activate on boot, and I need to restart.
Sure. You guys, if Sound Mapper, are you ready to come up? Yep. All right. Sound Mapper, come on up. Looney, if you're next in line. And then, just so you know, after Looney will be Ultrasound. Let's see. There's some behind you here. We could probably.
And then, am I gonna need what is this, HDMI? So I know.
Yeah.
You have the adapter.
There's an HDMI there. Yeah. Is that a
USB-C?
USB-C? Yes, we do.
Oh, we do. This is just backup.
Yeah.
Cord is short, so just be careful in the video. Okay. For that to boot up. Waiting for the oscilloscope to boot up. There we go.
Take the mic and introduce yourselves while you're waiting for that.
Yeah, sure. So we're Sound Mapper. Over the little short weekend that we had, is that working? Basically, we did a prototype where we had a. Let me look at my notes because Gordon wanted something specific. So this is a prototype. It's going to be one of many. It's a microphone preamp board. And Gordon's actually going to be using it for the kinetic sculpture race. So the idea is this is going to be like, just imagine a whole array of these and a whole array of these microphones, and you'll be able to pick up sound as it passes by. So like, let's say from the end of that wall to over here. And unfortunately, we didn't get to do this part, but we were going to map these to LEDs so you'd be able to see the sound travel. But yeah, so this is just our oscilloscope showing that we're reading the signal.
So this is just a solid bar of aluminum, and this was what gave us the idea. A radio astronomer friend showed this to me, and it's just elastic aluminum, and you wouldn't think it could stretch that much, but it does. And like a wine glass, when you stroke it with a clean hand in the sink, you'll see it start to ring, except this one, it's just axial. Could you hold the mic, please?
Yeah, sure.
And so The wavelength of the pitch that you're hearing right now is about 9 inches. And so this is many times 9 inches long. It's about 6 wavelengths long. And so it's like if you throw 2 pebbles into a pond, you'll see the interference patterns forming. Our goal with this preamp array is to mass produce an array of a dense array of about 150 of these microphone preamps adjacent to 150 LEDs in a line, and sweep that through space as we move through these constructive and destructive maxima and minima of the amplitude. And you can kind of hear that if I rotate this around. You'll see, if the walls weren't here, if this was outside especially, you would hear changes in where the appearance of the sound is coming from. That's because your left ear hears more than your right ear, or vice versa, and that changes very rapidly. So we'll be able to visualize, like a Chladni plate, you know, the two-dimensional representation of the vibrational modes of a sheet of metal. This will be a three-dimensional way of visualizing complex acoustical patterns in space.
Thank you very much. Okay, I'm just going to shuffle this back out of the way again. Try and keep our number of trip hazards on the stage to a manageable number. Okay, so... you are back. So, you are Pixel Soup? Yes, you are. It's reading things out of order. It's a difficult challenge. So not anyone can be an MC. No. Let me give you this.
Thank you. All right, guys. So the word of the day is Pixel Soup. 2 words, I know. So let me talk about what we're doing here. So our objective was to do something using style transfer. We chose Pokemon because we wanted to find a medium that had a lot of potential for style transfer. So let me explain a little bit about how this works. So Pokemon have types. For those of you who are less familiar, Pokemon is where you take an animal and you add an element, and it makes up about 1/10 of 1% of Japan's GDP. So we're saying that their types are their style. So, for example, they have given styles, but what if we could subtract out that style and give them another one? So this was the concept we had, but in order to do it, in order to do any kind of computer vision, you need a lot of data. So as far as official sprites go, there are really not a lot for each Pokemon, and if we want to do rich style transfer, we're going to need a lot of data. So we couldn't really get anything from existing data sets. So we decided we could generate our own.
Yeah, right. So we figured that a good way to get lots of data was to actually generate images from 3D models of the Pokemon. So we were really excited to find a huge database of 3D models of Pokemon, and by scripting via Maya, we were able to actually generate a lot of renders from multiple angles of each Pokemon that we wanted to test on, train on, and yeah.
So without going too far into detail, the way machine learning works, that we wanted to have a generator that said that if we took a Pokemon that's electric type in this case and tried to give it a vector that made it a fire type, it would turn into some image. We don't know what that image is. But if we took the same generator and tried to make it back into electric type, theoretically it should become the original Pokemon. So that is what you call cycle consistency. So it all sounds good in theory, but then this is the part where I say that machine learning is hard. So there are a lot of unknowns in machine learning, especially when you're building a new architecture like we did, and things can go very wrong. So this is a graph that's supposed to start at around 10 and then go down. It started at 10 and ends at, if you can read it, about 20,000. So this brings us back to our word of the day, Pixel Soup. Here are some results. The picture at the top is the source image, and then there's supposed to be 6 pictures below it, which are Pokemon cast into different types. Things don't always work out, especially on your first try. Also, because we're good at priorities, we have a web app that's fully functional, but just doesn't have any data.
Thank you very much, Pixel Soup. Okay, that was Pixel Soup. Soundmaker just went. So Looney, come to the stage, please. Ultrasound, you should be lined up. And after Ultrasound will be Dying Forest Symphony. So if you could also make your way to the right-hand side of the stage, you will be coming up shortly. Which of you would like to take the mic and introduce yourselves?
So I'm Jake, and we wanted to work on a new way for locomotion for little robots. So one thing we thought of was to have kind of like a chemistry type thing with shapes. We wanted to have like a nucleus which would hold all the devices, and then have a bunch of balloons on the outside. And we wanted to be able to deflate some balloons and inflate others to possibly make it roll. So that was the idea behind our project.
So we started off with the idea of having like a molecular-like shape with the tetrahedron kind of structure going on here. And so immediately we started with just materials. We ran out and we spent like 6 hours yesterday at the store running around. Good way to see the city though. We hit like 400 stores and all the way across the world, the city, so that was nice. So we started off with PetSmart, and we got a bunch of pumps from fish tanks and stuff like that, and those didn't work out, so we hit other stores, and we've ended up with using a pump from a blow-up mattress and a couple Arduinos and some electric motors, and that ended up being what kind of worked, but not really for us. So that's what you're seeing here is just a mess on the table. But yeah.
All right. Yeah. So you see on the screen the guts of the nucleus. So what we ended up getting done out of this scramble is that we were able to actually wire everything up and control everything. So we were able to control, yeah. All right, so inside we had a valve system, and we really struggled to control those valves with the limited supplies we could scrounge up. So we were able to wire everything up, get our motors working. We had a relay for the pump so that we could open valves, close valves. That way we could pump and inflate and deflate the balloons. So we were able to get that system working, and we got the code running so that if we were able to mesh the two together, we could potentially move. There were some issues. We didn't really want to end up with 4 balloons. We wanted to go for 8 for my full locomotion with the shape. But yeah, so yeah, thanks.
Thank you very much. I will say I always appreciate like intricate hardware attempts like that, and being able to, even when you don't quite get it to do what you dreamed of, being able to talk it through like that is really great, and really great to see the breakdown of the process you went through. So thank you. Okay. You are Ultrasound? Ultrasound, yep.
Close enough. Hi, we're Team Ultra Astound, and we have an interactive demo. So if you have a laptop with you, we'll do a demo that almost certainly won't work. So we're the team who's probably been driving you crazy with nearly inaudible screeching sounds all day. So we started out playing with generating ultrasound and detecting it with laptops, and that sort of worked. And then we decided to move on to synchronization. So the laptops are going to play tones and music, and initially they'll be out of sync, and then over time they drift into sync with an algorithm that comes from fireflies. So fireflies, there's a species in Africa that will synchronize, the whole tree will synchronize. They start out of sync, and over time they end up all flashing perfectly in sync by drifting their frequencies together, their periods together. So let's try it. If you have a laptop, go to this URL and turn your volume fairly high. Do you mind holding this? Okay, shall we go? So if you would press that up. So press set up.
And just press it up and it'll go.
Are they synchronizing?
They're creating communities of synchrony, not quite global synchrony.
Yeah, they're close. Is anyone else thinking?
There's a cluster that's synchronized? Yeah. It's pretty good.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. You can now cease all high-pitched noises. Ultra Astound. Thank you very much. Remember, keep note of everyone who's presenting because you will be asked to vote in the People's Choice Award at the end. We will put up the names on the screen. There is another thing over here if you want to plug in here. Yes. So, come on stage now. You are Dying Forest Symphony. Excellent, that's good. If local climate impacts could come and get in line to the right-hand side of the stage, and the Water Harp team, you will be up after them.
Oh, nice.
All right. Do you want to take the mic and introduce Sir Hack? Do we have two mics? Sorry? 2 mics? You can certainly have 2 mics.
Perfect. Awesome.
Go for it.
Start up. Hi, everyone. My name is Roman.
And I'm Chris.
And we're doing a project called Dying Forest Symphony. We wanted to figure out today whether we could take data that's being generated from the fires raging in the Amazon, picked up by satellites, and if we could generate a song from it.
And so we found this website called Global Forest Fires, which gave a nice handy source of JSON information that gave us the number of alerts that actually occurred per day back to the year 2001.
These alerts come from 2 satellites that are orbiting the Earth. There's the MODIS and the VERS, and what we noticed was the data was a little bit surprising, the patterns it showed.
And what we found was the forest fires are actually periodic based upon the season, and that every year there's pretty much always a fire season, and it ends at the beginning of the raining season. This is a presentation of a typical year that spans July to November, and we were able to find some climate information regarding precipitation in February, which shows that the Amazon is flooded with water. And so what we used is some, obviously, JavaScript, Python, Unix. We found a MIDI writer utility that gave us a lot of trouble. And then we were able to whip it all together, which hopefully will be presented now.
And so we invite you to listen to the sounds of the Amazon.
I can't get it. October's not yet complete. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dying Forest Symphony. Okay, do we have local climate impacts ready to come up on stage? Wonderful. After them will be the Water Harp, and after them will be Precious Plastics. So Precious Plastics and Water Harp, please be ready. You're up shortly.
Thanks. Thank you. I'm Becky, this is Kevin. Tara, and we also got input from several other people, some of whom are here. So we'd like to say thanks to them. So we wanted to make a tool that would make climate impact data easily accessible and localized. So we found that most data visualization tools for climate change are complicated. They have graphs and maps that are maybe confusing, too technical, overwhelming, and leave people feeling helpless. So our hack was to take the same data and put them together in a way that is very specific, local, and gives people action steps that they can take based on what's going to be happening in their area.
Right, so we grabbed 3 different data sets from just public data sources like the NOAA, and we created a site like this where you can basically enter in. Does this mic work?
That mic, I don't know. I think just put it
right. I hold this for you.
Nice. So you can enter in your location. So like it can be like a zip code, and it'll grab like the closest relevant future projections for climate change. So we have different attributes like temperature, flooding, and precipitation, and you can see sort of 3 different scenarios that are derived from the IPCC projections for like an optimistic case, sort of a moderate case, and also a worst case scenario. So this is San Francisco for the year 2080. So we can also take a look at a different location, which has a different distribution of data. So for Dallas, Texas, we can see that they actually have sort of a severe impact of like number of days in the year that are higher than 100 degrees. So we also add in sort of like these preparation tips in these contexts so that people can handle like the changes that are coming for them. So we can see in 2040, the number of 100-degree days is lower, and that does change over time. We can also go to New York, and that again has a different set of concerns. So coastal flooding is sort of like more of an immediate concern over 5 feet, and we also have specific tips for that. Yeah.
Yeah, so, whoops. Oh, all right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Local climate impacts. Okay, setting themselves up to my right are the Waterheart team. Precious Plastics, you'll be up after this, and after Precious Plastics will come Carbon Zero. So if you could make yourselves ready to the right of the stage, we'll have you on shortly. Who would like this microphone?
I will take it.
There you go.
Okay. Who loves to listen to the sound of rain? I see you. Oh, yeah. Don't you love listening to pitter-patter while sipping on some tea by the windowsill? Isn't it nice? Well, what if we could simulate any type of rain, from torrential downpour to light rain to sinusoidal wave? What if we could take it one step further and find the music in the rain? Or the rain might be able to teach you the music, Guitar Hero style. All this to be able to listen to the sounds that rain can make. So we did this by, can we switch it back to the slide? Thank you. We did all this by using solenoid valves to control the rain. We had a microcontroller for that. And just by timing it all, we can create all this wonderful science. And using a depth camera as well to visualize and see the person controlling the music of the rain. Finally, lastly, maybe the rain is trying to tell you something. So please, can we go back to the camera? And I would like for you to tilt your head to the left and read out what that is saying. Science Hack Day! Thank you so much, Science Hack Day!
Thank you very much. That's probably fine. All right, thank you so much, Waterharp. Next up to the stage, please, Precious Plastics. Yep. All right, if you want to set yourself up, Carbon Zero, you'll be next after this. After Carbon Zero, Magic Chess. Please set yourselves up to the right of the stage, ready to come on as we get done.
Thank you, though. So, actually, how visible is that? Cool. So, Kate and I were working on recycling plastics, and I mainly created this wiki of plastic experiments that I've done so far, including this weekend when I decided to try cramming PLA from old 3D prints, as well as HDPE plastic from milk jugs, and LDPE, which is low-density polyethylene from plastic bags, down a hot glue gun to see if I could have a cheap manual extruder without buying or constructing something super complex. So, Kate helped me create a ramrod to cram the things down the hot glue gun. We got a $7 hot glue gun, which is super cheap. I first tried using 3D printed PLA from support material, and I got these little poops. Lots of little plastic poops, basically. And I've got some of these. Ooh, where did they go? Ah, yes. The HDPE, I cut the milk jugs into long strips and crammed them down. This one I started with those, and then with the plastic bags, I just sort of cut them into strips and crammed them down the hot glue gun. Well, it's pretty fun. So, the PLA pieces came out pretty okay. I was cramming these into down the hot glue gun and then like extruding them into these molds that I've made, for which the information is also on the wiki, which I'll show you again in a second. And I was trying to make like studs for jackets, like plastic, cool, recycled studs, so you can be punk and also recycle at the same time. And they came out kind of blobby because I was using like a silicone-based mold. 50 seconds left. Okay, this is fine. The HDPE came out kind of stringy. It's sort of the clear parts in here, and it looks like it's mostly still mixed with the PLA. So that wasn't super successful, and it took like 5 to 10 minutes to melt each sort of section of HDPE in the glue gun because it melts super slowly. But the plastic bags were actually really successful. They melt really fast. I had a green plastic bag that cut up into strips, and it pushed the rest of the stuff out of the glue gun, and I made this weird little earth blue-green gold powder thingy. It's an earth made from recycled plastics, yay! And Kate did some cool stuff where she was melting the HDPE from milk jugs and PLA and sticking wood into it to see if you could like adhere it, and it worked really well.
Wonderful, that was Precious Plastics. Carbon Zero. please make your way up onto the stage. Magic Chess, you should hopefully be in line next. After Magic Chess will be Meowsec. Yeah, that's supposed to go. You can correct the pronunciation when you get here. But now Carbon Zero. Who would like to introduce yourselves?
Okay, so we successfully managed to build an app in like 30 hours, which is pretty amazing. The idea of the app is to get people to plant trees and also to learn about how they can reduce their carbon footprint. So we're gonna play through this, and hopefully it works. Oh, yeah. I might need to plug my, oh, great. Cool. So you start out, and we're gonna go. So we thought about questions a lot, how to ask them in a positive framework so people don't feel guilty but actually feel more empowered to make change. So I'm like trying to be vegan, good luck, right? I do a lot of Ubers, so let's put it somewhere like this. I do my best to recycle, but you know. And I didn't even know that we could do these carbon offsets. Thanks for teaching me. So I'm a 0 on that. And based on this, we had Yusuf look through a calculator that does a lot of calculations around your emissions. And yeah, we have some UX elements messed up, but you get a baseline number. Right now it's like at 600 that you can start to reduce to 0. For that, you get to choose. This was also research that was done by Penelope, which types of trees fit based on your GPS location the best. So what do you guys want, a strawberry tree or an oak? Strawberry, okay. So we choose a strawberry tree, we get this cute card with all these details about how tall it is and the origin so people can learn, sort of again like Pokemon Go. You can start collecting the trees that you plant. And now we're gonna go to the planting process, which is Mark did an amazing job getting GPS and XR in like 1 day. So you can actually zoom in, and the idea is that users will be able to put in places on the map that you can plant trees. So if you have a backyard and people can come and plant trees in your yard, or if there's like community gardens. So let's imagine that GitHub decides to be more carbon neutral and has a big garden right where we are, and we can actually go plant it. So the idea is you actually go to that place, and we're gonna hopefully, this is the point where we need the USB to connect to the camera. It might take a few, oh, allow access. Wait, yes, I'm allowing access. Let's see if this works. Yes, there's a thing, it's happening. Great, so now we're sort of hacking the brain because trees take a really long time to grow, right? But if we can start showing people immediately the impact, we can start creating these positive feedback loops. And the idea is that they can plant a real tree, but this marker of where they plant the tree is going to be saved on our database. And anybody that's there in the system can come by and visit the tree as it grows, and even have campaigns around taking care of the tree together and making this a fun social activity that's also really healthy for the environment. We have 20 seconds. We also built a website. It's on GitHub and will be published shortly. Next week, I'm going to continue this hackathon at my community house. So whoever wants to join, I hope you do. 8 seconds. Anyone? Was it fun? Awesome. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Carbon Zero. Okay, next to the stage, please, Magic Chess. Magic Chess. Ah, hello. Oh. Did you use a plugin? You've got a...
When you guys exit, make sure to come over on this side, just to stay clear of...
Okay.
All right. We go? Okay.
So hey everyone, we tried to build a chess thing. It is 90% working, but it broke at the last minute. So
we were standing right over there, and that used to be video, and now it's a broken image, and it happened right. We were standing right by the ladder, and.
Anyway, the idea was that we have a chessboard with a camera pointed at it. We are streaming that into a Raspberry Pi, and that is then feeding it into another machine that's doing some computer vision machine learning on it to estimate the state of the chess pieces on the board, and then it's running a web server that outputs it to the image on the left. And so if you move the pieces on the virtual chessboard will update to reflect the state of the real chessboard. So it was just about working, but Science Hack Day, so.
Just to give a little bit more, the board processing is a two-part process. First part is rectification, so you take a slightly orthogonal image, and then chessboards are really easy to rectify because they have these nice square patterns on them. And so there's a simple computer vision algorithm that'll do that. And then after that, we subdivide it by the squares, because once you've rectified it, now it's just an even division of 8. And then you get each individual square, do classification inside the square. Is it empty or does it have a piece? What's the piece? And it's pretty straightforward.
We did spend approximately 3/4 of our time trying to make the cameras work last night. So that was about a 15-hour process, I think. Getting the drivers working, getting OpenCV rebuilt on the Raspberry Pi, setting up a lot of stuff on Python. So we only actually spent probably 2 hours on the actual fun stuff of it. So yeah, that's how hacks go. The idea was also to hook this into something some friends of mine made, which is called Scream Chess, which is where you move the pieces and then there's sound effects when you capture someone else's piece. So that is all still entirely possible with probably about another hour's worth of work, maybe 2.
Anyway, I don't have anything else.
Thanks to Robert and all the other guys who helped out, Kata and Dan and Dennis. Yeah, and I'm Tom.
Thank you very much. That was Magic Chess. Okay, next up to the stage, please, Meowsec. After them will be Data is music again, is that right? Or did you just enter your hack twice? Let's assume that might be an error. So that after that will be recycled PLA capacitor. Then we're into our final 5 hack presentations. Remember to keep paying attention for your People's choice. Okay. One of you like the mic to introduce yourself?
Sure.
Is it working?
I guess there's not speakers. Well, let's see if there's speakers.
Is there audio? Oh, that one over there. Okay. We're setting up the audio. So we are Meowsec. Do you want to give an intro on what our name means?
Yeah, so originally we were supposed to do a cat caller, and whenever there is a meow sound, it would translate that into English, so you know what the hell the cat wants. That's not what happened. We ended up with a soundboard that plays cat sounds, and the idea was that anyone could essentially just jump in to the website and it'd just be chaos.
Yeah, so the goal here is to make a sequencer, a step sequencer that people could make music collaboratively on. We didn't make the back end, so right now it's just a step sequencer with a meow sound in it also. So we put a bunch of just wave files in here. You can put whatever sounds you wanted into it. We built it with Angular 2, and yeah. So we're just gonna make some beats for you now.
Feel free to get up and dance if you want. Thank you.
Recycle PLA capacitor. Recycle PLA capacitor. Dirty microchannel is next. If we could get dirty microchannel landing up, followed by animals in the air.
So, hi, this is a recycled PLA, and so what we wanted to do is figure out, I'm Shannon, and I'm looking for the pieces of recycled PLA so you could see that, and I unfortunately don't seem to have that in my pocket with me at the moment. And so what I've got here is some pieces of scrap PLA that has a fair amount of voids. Not sure if the camera can see that, but what we can do is just check the voltage on the capacitance meter. So if you can see the meter, go ahead and show the meter reading. Right now there's should be no voltage, or there's 1.5 voltage. And then if we look at what's on the actual what's being the capacitance that's coming off of the PLA, it's over the ambient voltage. So it is actually holding charge. So that's recycled PLA and conductive paste, and also a mandarin orange that I use to squeeze over the top to get it a bit more charge. So add an acid, make a full-on, almost like a lemon-style battery, and that's demonstrating that you can create a network mesh of recycled PLA. And the idea was originally to have was to use like either nanocarbons or some other conductive medium and sandwich that in the PLA structure. That was unfortunately too advanced for this hack day without lack of preparation. So I figured, all right, well, let's get really hacky and use the amount of material that we have available on site, which is, fruit and spare PLA. So thank you.
Thank you very much. That was recycled PLA capacitor. Next up will be dirty microchannel, and then the very final presentation will be animals in the air. If you could line up on the right-hand side of the stage by the ramp to be ready to go, that would be great. Also, since these are the last ones on the list, if anyone was expecting to present a hack, if you thought you'd submitted a hack and it's not been read out, please see Ramon on the side, and he can help you out. But otherwise, we're into our penultimate presentation. Don't recommend trying to say that.
Okay. Hello. So yesterday I gave a talk about how to make a microchannel here at Science Hack Day, which is not made in a clean room, so therefore the dirty microchannel. So I basically had this double-sided tape, and I put the fluidic channels in that, and then I pressed it between two acrylic sheets, and then I tapped these holes in it, and then we attach it to tubes and connectors and 2 dyes, and we're going to mix them. I'm going to show you first how an actual good microchannel works so that you know what to expect. Will you hold on to this? Okay. Can you see? Okay. Yay. So I'm not doing a good job of actually pressing these to the same. with the same pressure, but you see that they're mixing. And with a good mixer, you just need a lot of surface area. So the more windy and convoluted and more space for these two colors to mix, so the longer this route, then the mixing is better. Anyway, so this is not, this is if I had actually had a syringe pump that would push the fluid with the same flow rate on both sides, you would actually see the nice purple. But anyway, so let's go to the other one. So we didn't have a good laser cutter to actually cut through the double-sided tape. So I made a guide with the 3D printer and then had an X-Acto knife and then put this on my double-sided tape and cut around it. So cool. Can you see it? Okay. I don't actually see. So clearly there's some leak, but it's all good. It's coming out. I swear it worked before. Is it actually coming out here? Yay, leaks. I don't think it's good. Well, my channel is bleeding, but you got the idea. But there is definitely a good way to make this if I have more time. But thanks a lot, Science Hack Day. Bye.
If you go off on the other side. Just it's fine. Careful. Yeah. Which one do you need? Oh, you need the Thunderbolt 2. There you go. All right. So our final presentation: animals in the air. After this, we will once again take you through the People's Vote process. But first, please enjoy final hack presentation of Science Hack Day 2019.
Okay, so everybody know about the carbon footprint, and then I always get confused about exactly how much carbon I create. So just to make it easier, I have this website, web page that you can do. For example, if you use this much of 34 miles per gallon, okay, and you drive only 10,000 miles, and then you say that, hey, I want to see my animal that I generate in the weight. So in 1 year, you generate only 3 bisons that you carry around, put it in the air, okay? And the reason I say that, because a lot of time we don't know how much we generate, right? And the little kid doesn't know. He just say that, hey, Dad, bring me there, you know. And now you start to realize that, hey, all these things that you generate is all floating in the air. And then gradually, then you start to realize that maybe I should not drive that much and all that stuff. But that's the whole concept, just kind of like, so that's what I call it, animal in the air, because depending on how much drive. I have a friend who drives a lot, and I show him that he actually generate about 20-something bisons per year. And he said, no way, you know, your program is wrong, you know. But, you know, we can either live in denial or we can do something about that, right? And I hope everybody join me to reduce the animal in the air. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, everybody who has presented this afternoon or taken part in any way over the course of the weekend. That was an amazing set of presentations. Can we have one more round of applause for everybody? Okay, with presentations done, we are on to voting. Our team of intrepid judges will be whisked away to a secret location to deliberate for a very strict 15-minute deliberation period, while the rest of us in here get to do the serious business of collecting votes for the People's Choice Award. You have seen the presentation, so please now vote for your favorite. Pens and paper will be distributed around to you by our heroic host, Ariel Waldman, and probably some others. Please, on the pieces of paper, write down your favorite hack from the weekend. Write down its name. They're all listed here. You can include the number as well if you like, but please write down the name of the hack. That will make it much easier for us to sort them shortly. And when you have done that, deposit them in this egregiously pink bucket at the front of the auditorium area. You will have, well, please do that now. Vote now. And then we will have a short 15-minute break while the judges squabble over the other results, and we will summon you back here. Yes. After you have cast your vote, please, please, please help us out by, if you see any little bits of trash around, anything that's a little untidy after the weekend, please, please, please help us out by starting to tidy that away and putting it into trash bins. Also, out in the work area, you will see there is the board collecting postcards full of your memories of Science Hack Day this year and every other year. Please fill in a postcard, share your memories of this event, all the people who have been involved in it over all this time. It will mean so, so much to everyone to see all of that collected together. Thank you very much. Votes at the front, postcards out there, trash all around. Thank you. All right, everyone. Pretty much everyone I can see is already seated, but if you're not, please have a seat. If I can't see you, please come have a seat. It is time. As you can see, the science has been done because I'm holding a clipboard full of results, as is the way these things go. We have a whole page. Spoilers. A whole page full of prizes to give and wonderful becoated people to hand prizes to you. Here's how it's going to work. Fairly self-explanatory. I'm going to tell you what the prize is. I'm going to tell you who won it. You're going to come up to the stage to rapturous applause from the right up the ramp. Do not attempt to navigate the obstacle course we've built on the other side of the stage to stop you coming up over the loose cables. That side, my left, your right, stage right? Yeah, whatever. That over there, with the ramp. Come up from there, collect your prizes, have your photograph taken by the wonderful Mr. Biddulph. That's pretty much it. I think you're probably all sort of fairly au fait with the concept of receiving a prize for excellent work. We can probably just get into this. All right. People's Choice. No, we'll do that at the end. I know. It's not my first time reading a clipboard, even this clipboard. Right. We told you at the beginning there were a few categories that we were looking for from the outset. And so first up, let us announce the winner for Best Design. There is no drum roll. The winner is Carbon Zero. come on up from the ramp side of the stage. Carbon Zero, everybody. Round of applause. All right, next up, the award for Best Hardware. Pause for suspense. Dirty Microchannel. Come on up. Yes. Or we could maintain the applause awkwardly until they appear, depending on how much time we have. Okay, moving on. Wait, oh. Yes. For the best use of data, the Hadron Collider team. Now, as we all know, science is an unending field of discovery and invention, and in that vein, a number of additional awards have been invented, or discovered, or otherwise not conjured. That would be magic. That's not really science, except maybe it is. There are some more awards. So, the award for the best dating app goes to Particular Affection. Come on up. All right, the award for the best negative results, Pixel Soup. Pixel Soup, everybody. This next hack inspired the judges to get punny, so let's see if I can say this without stuttering. The award for the most mammalorable animals in the air. Okay, next up, the award for the most fun, Meowseek. done, Meowseek. Okay. Very up with current consumer technology trends. The award for the best wearable, which goes to the balloons. Little further to the middle of the stage, please. Oh, back the other way, other way. Okay, the award for the best interactive hack. FieldNote Citizen Science. The award for the best swarm goes to Ultra Astound. And the award for the best sensory hack goes to SoundMapper. All right, I'm going to carefully scan this thing to make sure I haven't missed anyone, which is actually very difficult to do while ad-libbing to occupy your ears while I do it, but I think we've got them all. Yeah. Okay. Our judges' Best in Show award goes to... You want to do the drum roll thing again? Go on. Entertain me. Tabidi Meter. Which brings us to the People's Choice. If you voted for this, you may not be surprised. The winner of the Science Hack Day 2019 People's Choice Award is WaterHarp. Come on up. Okay. All right, one more round of applause. One more round of applause for your People's Choice Award winners. That concludes all of the prizes. So congratulations to everyone who won. Congratulations to everybody who took part in this. It is not about the winning, it's about the science. And I hope you've all had an incredible weekend, having a huge amount of fun, building all of these weird and wonderful and always so inspiringly varied creations, great and small. It's kind of my favorite. My favorite thing about presenting this is just seeing how you can one moment have a great big contraption like the water harp, and then the next moment's the smallest little sort of plastic and goo, and may not be the scientifically correct term, but you know what I mean. It's just the breadth of what people create here is incredible, and you're all amazing, and well done. All right. I think all that leaves me to do is to hand the microphone over to your great host and leader, Ariel Waldman, who will be thanking a lot of people.
Obviously, thanks so much to all of you who have stayed through this weekend. We're all tired together, so this has been amazing. I have some things that I would like to say at the end. First, the most important people that I want to thank, in addition to all of you, is all of my co-organizers, Matt, June, Ramon, Don, Drew in the back. And actually, I want to give them each an opportunity, if they want to take it, to say a few words, and then I'll come back at the end and we'll close out. So I guess, Matt, if you want to start, or June? Yep, no. No. Okay, Matt.
All right. Yeah, I just want to say really thank you to all of you. Thank you to everyone who came for the first time this year. Thank you to the people who have been to 10. It's been a wonderful, wonderful experience. And I just want to point out, because she's always going to be too humble to say it and point it out herself, that Ariel Waldman, who is the creator of Science Hack Day San Francisco and has helped hundreds of people around the world organize and attend Science Hack Days in every single continent, including Antarctica. She's the genesis of this event, and I'm super grateful to her. I'm sure you are too. And I'd like you to give her a big round of applause.
Okay, to follow that, I was thinking a lot about why I enjoy Science Hack Day so much. And I think not only is it so interdisciplinary, bringing science and art, design, technology all together, but ultimately it's about creating a sense of wonder. And I think in our lives, we oftentimes get into a routine, we maybe get into a job that we may or may not like, that we kind of lose that sense of wonder on the day-to-day basis. And we really take this weekend out just to create something wonderful, to follow our curiosities, be totally okay if something doesn't work at all, right? And so I challenge you going forward, even without Science Hack Day annually, to try to see that sense of wonder in your life and try to take those moments, create something new, you know, hack on something with some friends, and keep that spirit going.
So for me, I'll just come at it from a personal aspect. When I first showed up at the Science Hack Day, I believe it might have been 2014 or 15, I knew no one and knew absolutely nothing very specifically related to science, but yet the community and the vibes were just so open and welcoming that I ended up becoming a volunteer the next year, volunteering at next level, and becoming an organizer after that, to make sure that the experience that I had was something that would be open to repeat offenders, I'll call them. Just joking. repeat people that came back year over year, and especially all the newcomers that come, once a year is good enough for us. We just wanted to make sure that you had an incredible, awesome experience making stuff up as you go along over that 24 to 48 hour period. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for the time and effort. We really appreciate it as much as you think you appreciate us. We appreciate you for making this happen as well.
Thanks a lot for taking part in hardware hacking. When I first moved to San Francisco, I had not studied engineering and had not done any sort of like woodworking, metalworking whatsoever. And it was being introduced to the hackerspace scene in San Francisco that kind of gave me access to a lot of tools and a lot of people who taught me all the things I know. And it was quite a pleasure to sort of bring some of that to here and being able to sort of show a lot of people how to use a router or a 3D printer. But if anyone needs tools in the future, I have acquired a lot of tools, and I just wanted to say that I'm always happy to lend stuff out to people that people want. That's all.
How ironic, I can't turn my own microphone on. I'll keep it quick. I'll just say that this event over the last 5 years has been consistently my favorite. It's been the best people, the best content, and to June's point, it really brings back that sense of wonder, which can be easily lost on your 45th straight React.js meetup. And I just want to give a special shout out to all the organizers who work so hard to make this happen. And part of a good event is not knowing how much hard work went into it, but let's just give them another round of applause because I got to go last.
Okay, so some thank yous I want to send out again, in addition to all of you and the organizers, our awesome volunteers who have been wearing the Science Hack Day logo shirt. It's like, thank you to all of them. They've been running the front desk and like keeping the food fresh and all that stuff. So round of applause to all of our Science Hack Day volunteers. Thanks again to our sponsors, GitHub, Important Not Important, Otaku Patrol Group. They have helped keep this event free for all of you to attend and give you lovely catering and things of that nature. So thanks to them for making this event possible. I know we have all been enjoying the live transcription service from White Coat Captioning, specifically Mirabai, who's on the other end of this microphone. She has been amazing, as you can tell. So thank you, Mirabai, for all of your awesome interpretations of our music and, cat music and all sorts of Antarctic seals and other stuff like that. So thank you, Mirabai. If there's anyone else I haven't thanked, please know that is my intention. GitHub Security actually is a really big one I want to thank. GitHub Security has been really awesome with us and making this event help run very smoothly and sort of keeping us all safe and sound and helping us when we lose stuff and all sorts of things like that. So GitHub Security is at the security post, so they may or may not be actually hearing me now, but we have been thanking them over the weekend, and so thanks to them as well. Okay, so my final notes I sort of typed up very briefly this morning. So I'm usually a pretty short and sweet person, and I kind of just focus on getting stuff done and everything. But oh my God, watching Apollo 11 this morning and then knowing this is the 10th and last for now Science Hack Day in San Francisco, I swear I cried twice. Like, oh, I would really. I'm really proud of all of us. We've done, like, all of us here have done some really awesome, great work. As June was saying, Science Hack Day will continue in some form through you and the things that you all do and continue to do. And some of that just might be who you make new friends with and who you reach out to in the future and things you create. So please keep hacking science. I've gotten this question a lot about, the last Science Hack Day in San Francisco. So to clarify, Science Hack Day is going to be continuing in all other cities around the world. If you have friends in other cities, or if you spend time in other cities, please, feel free to start a Science Hack Day. I am here year-round to help you and help your friends and help anyone else who wants to organize a Science Hack Day. You can send me an email. I'm happy to help as much as you want, or get out of your way, because Science Hack Day is not an organization. It is just a bunch of people getting together and doing fun stuff. So you do not need my permission, but you have it. So with the Science Hack Day San Francisco being the last one, everyone's like, well, what does that exactly mean? I'm not exactly sure, but this is what I know. That we are not planning on having a Science Hack Day San Francisco in 2020, but if we decide to do one in 2021 or beyond, we will definitely let you know. I have a massive index of all the alumni of Science Hack Day, and we will absolutely let you all be the first to know if we do one in 2021 or beyond. As I said at the start, Drew has called this the Science Hack Day Reunion Tour. We shall see if that happens, and if it does, we will let you know. So also from the Apollo 11 movie this morning, one of the parts where I was just trying to hold back tears was also when they were returning to Earth from the moon. And I kind of feel like that's what we're all about to go do is, we've been to the moon and we've had a great journey and we're coming back. And so on the way back from the moon, Buzz Aldrin was talking to Earth before they landed. And I sort of hacked his quote that he said to make it applicable to us. So this has been far more than 225 people this weekend and 1,200 people over all of Science Hack Day San Francisco on a voyage to Science Hack Day San Francisco. We feel that this stands as a symbol of the insatiable curiosity for all humankind to explore the unknown. Thank you.